Good morning. It's Adam here, and I wanted to chat today about a new system that we produced called the EMS system. This is an emergency management system for communities that just don't have the deep pockets that are required for programs like Salamander and other personnel management platforms and tracking platforms for specific incidents. I also introduce a novel idea where I'm actually asking for the community to participate in situational awareness. Too often we have an incident, we have to send out the few resources that we have to figure out what the impact area is. And so, certainly, people are used to doing that kind of thing, working on their phones and being in their environment. Given an opportunity to know about these systems earlier, they would even be able to provide more situational awareness. So, you can see here we have a landing page. We can change the content here to say, this basically would be into your county emergency management system. We have some notifications around, hey, listen, if this is a 911 emergency, call 911. And you can see that we focus on interactive mapping, personnel tracking, and incident management. So I'm going to start with the crowdsourcing components around public damage assessment forms. For me, this is a big deal, particularly when you get into anything even kind of rural. I mean, it doesn't have to be terribly rural. A lot of even big cities don't have this, but we're going to go ahead and click through. When we click in, we get this ability to be able to say, who are you? Steve Smith. And we'll go ahead and put in an address here. Let's go 4000 Highway K in O'Fallon. So we're just going to go ahead and choose that. And it's a residential structure. It's destroyed. We can say the building is collapsed. And we can go ahead and say, I don't know. People will never know how much it is, but if you put this estimated repair cost in there, at least helps you to sort of get that first blush at whether or not you're going to have the impact that you think that you have. We're going to go ahead and put additional notes. Need help removing trees. I don't know. We'll go ahead and submit that. And once we submit that, we have an opportunity to submit another, maybe for a neighbor. But we'll see where that goes in a little bit. You can see it was very simple to fill out the form and head ahead. We could, by the way, put in their functionality to save photos so you could actually see it as well. We're going to go ahead and go back. Now, when you log in as a member, you says, hey, welcome back. I'm in a demo user, so it says welcome back user. If this was a specific user, it would say welcome back Adam. And we can see that we're accessing the emergency management response operations. Let's go ahead and go right into the dashboard. So we'll go into the dashboard, and we can see here that we have a couple of incidents. Let's create a new incident. And so this could come in over phone. Could come in over radio. And we're going to say this is a 1050 at, I don't know, let's say on Tucker Street. And so we're going to say this is a red car versus a school bus. And we're going to give it a critical priority. And this is going to be rescue work. And this is actually at 1300 Tucker, and that's in St. Louis, Missouri. So we'll go ahead and choose that, and we'll create that incident. Now that we've created that incident and we select that incident, it'll actually bring us to that incident on the map. We can go here to, as an example, Ellsbury on this incident and see exactly where that is. On the right hand side, you get to see incident details. You can also see who's assigned to that and go in here and assign additional personnel or transfer it. So we'll go ahead and take a look. These are only going to be people that are available. So if somebody else is actually there on duty, but they're not available, they won't show up to be assignable. So that gives you your assignable resources. We're going to go ahead and take a look here. We also can set some timers. So I'm going to go down here and set a timer. And when we set that timer, you can actually see it gives you a 5, 10, 30 minutes or 1 hour timer. This gives you the ability to be able to quickly remember to go back and get your sit reps and just check on your officer or your communicator or whomever that might be. I'm going to go ahead and set that for 10 minutes. And since we have a 10-minute timer set, we're good to go. We can go up here and we can see that we have that timer on that Tucker Street incident, and we have the incident ID number here, along with we can add additional time to this, or we can clear that timer from here. We're going to let that go. We won't still be here when we get to we'll still be here when we get to 10 minutes. Hopefully this video is not that long, but you can kind of get a sense for that. You also can see here that if we go back, we'll start to be able to see that we have an emerging pattern here with our public reports. Looky there, we can kind of see that we are starting to see a line there exist between the cities of basically Lake St. Louis and O'Fallon. When we get a critical mass of people that have let us know their addresses, you can see how that line can pretty quickly fill in to give you really solid situational awareness. And we can filter by incidents, personnel, or just damage reports, or all the above, where they might be, and where they're staging. So really clean way to look at that. Then we're going to go over here and we'll go into personnel. Now you'll notice that there's a banner for our timer that just persists at the top. This puts us in a spot where we now have the ability to stop and just take a look at any time to remember what it is that we needed to keep our eyes on. And you can see that we have a number of folks here that are either available or on duty. You can search for those individuals. So I can look for myself. I can look at who's specifically available, who's on duty, who's not available, etc. pretty easily. So we're going to go ahead and go in and add a person. So we're going to add Tom White, and he's going to be a fire captain. And you can put all the information in there. What's nice is you can go ahead and print the badge. And so here I currently have it set as the little plastic card, the CR80 card. So it will work with your badge printer. And then in addition to that, you could also print, as an example, you could print it to say a sticker, or even one of those stickers that turn colors based on time for security. And so you get the ability to be able to also check in visitors, or interop or anything like that that you might want to do. Maybe you have some impromptu volunteers in your organization. So you have that ability, then you can add that personnel. When you're on a user record here, let's say that they need a new badge, you can just come in here and click the badge printer, and whatever the last badge that was selected will be reprinted. You can click reprint badge, and we'll go ahead and do that. You also can go over here and edit the user, and go ahead and just change their status. If you needed to do that here, you also can do that on the actual job itself. So this person currently was not logged in, and so it gave us an error because I actually can't change their status to that when they're not here. Next is reporting. So we have some solid reporting metrics that give us the ability to be able to quickly come in and understand exactly what's happening in our org. So we can see how many badges have been printed this week. We can see how many active personnel we have. We can see how many active incidents and damage reports. So we see those damage reports starting to come in, and we can see some trending statistics. I don't currently have that turned on just because I have such a small sample set. And then finally, we can go in here and we can run some admin stuff. So we can change what it says at the top. We can change the icon to something different. We have a couple of different ways to address that. And then, of course, we have this kind of capability to come in here and set some settings as well as our user management. Now, currently, I have user management set. Interestingly, you can come in and the user can just log in using their selected username and password, preferably their email address, and then it'll put them in a public status, which means they can't do pretty much anything. But you can come in here and then select that user and change their role, which immediately gives them the right role access. So things like spelling their email address or having to have all that detail, especially if they're remote, can be a nightmare. So this gives a really great possibility to be able to support all that user management in a really clean way. So hope you enjoyed the demo. This gives you what you need. And if you'd like to talk more about it, I'd love to be able to chat at 314-852-5800. Again, the number 314-852-5800. And thanks for watching. And I hope that you enjoy the detail here from the emergency management system.